After a gap, we will be now discussing about the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad. So let us begin with Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This Brahman is infinite. This universe is also infinite. The infinite universe came out from the infinite Brahman. But taking this infinite of the infinite, namely the universe, it remains as the infinite alone. Om, peace, peace, peace. Friends, we were studying the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad. It's a very famous Upanishad, and name is Brhadaranyaka. Aranyak means forest. A Brihad is the huge forest of knowledge. It began, as you can remember, it began with a story that a horse is being sacrificed. So that was the story. But as usual, and the Hindu, the scriptures, they always say something, but it has a spiritual meaning also. The horse is this, head is this side, a tail is this side, the horse sacrifice. But then ultimately it says it is that Brahman, the Atman, so they were describing. And in our last discourse, which I gave from online, I gave from Houston, Texas, I was visiting that time over there. And there we concluded by saying the Upanishad is giving a call to go back to the sources. What is that source? Source is the Brahman. And what was the call? And that other day, we chanted Asatoma Sadgamaya. That is the beautiful teaching of the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Ma here means we. Take us. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mritturma Amritam Gamaya. Almost all the Hindus, they know this particular prayer. Asatoma, in any function, any program, they will be chanting this. So that is the way they know. But what is this meaning of Asat? Asat, from Asat to Sat. What is Asat? When you literally translate, Asat means it is not truth. Na Sat. So Asat means falsehood. And how it is false? Because it is not permanent, that much. Not that it is not there. Sometimes we say this world is not there. No, it is not like that. It is obviously it is there. But at the same time, as because it is temporary, so the people of knowledge will tell that this is asat. It is very, very temporary. The sat is truth. That means permanent. Now the temporary is this world. Then obviously in this world, when you look at ourselves, we can understand how temporary it is. Constantly changing, constantly changing. And the time is coming when it is going to stop. So that is why it is asat, it is temporary. And sat means the truth. and is permanent. This permanency in the Veda, they have termed it in three different words. One is Brahman, another is the self, another consciousness. Brahman is Brahman, self is the Atman in Sanskrit, and consciousness in Sanskrit, Chaitanya. So you will find that again and again it says that Brahman, Atma, Chaitanya, but it is the same thing. The same thing, it is in three names, Brahma, Atma, Chaitanya. The Chaitanya means the consciousness, and we understand this consciousness. And from there we can understand the difference between the conscious and unconscious. The unconscious, like the stone, like other things, is all unconscious. And under the stone, there are some small creatures, they are conscious. The moment you remove the stone, it comes out. So we can understand that they are living and it is not living. Non-living and living. But the consciousness is present everywhere. It is only difference between the gradation of manifestation. The manifestation of consciousness is highest in the godly people, divine people, good people. And the same consciousness is very, very less in woods, in stone, in the steel, and this type of. So we say they are inert, they are unconscious, but actually it is not. It is consciousness is there. But manifestation is so low, so down, that we cannot find it there. So that is the difference. So Sat and Asat. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. What is tamas? Ignorance. What is ignorance? Accepting this world which is temporary as permanent. First. Second, trying to squeeze out the joy, the happiness from this world as a permanent source. This is the ignorance. Otherwise, everything is okay. When we think that we are going to get the joy, permanent joy from this world, that is a great mistake. No one can, no one could. The history is the great teacher. From the pages of the history we learned, so many people, they wanted to get name, fame, permanency, but nothing. The pharaohs of the Misha, that they, even after the death, that one type of medicine will be applied, the oil will be applied on their body, then they constructed a huge, wonderful, let's call pyramids, and they will be lying down. Why? Because they were thinking that they are going to be permanent over there. Someday the life will come back into that body. Again they will become the king. Again they will rule. Again they will enjoy. And now we all go over there as a tourist and we see them as the mummies. So this is we see even then also we don't accept it that way. Again, another person who is ruling over there, though he is living among those pyramids and mummies, still that person is thinking, I am going to be permanent. I am going to be here for all through. So I have to rule, I have to punish, I have to grab, I have to enjoy. And this is called Maya. So we need not to accept the God or accept the scripture. But if we can accept the originality, analyze it, we will understand all these things that we see is nothing but folly, for very, very temporary. Even some people, they are so much engrossed to get the joy out of this temporary thing, they are called samsaris. In Sanskrit, they will be calling as samsari. What is the samsara? That every time moving out, every time going away. So when it is every time going away, every time moving, that is called samsara. And this samsara, this sammak sarati ya sa samsara. Sammak sarati, the constantly changing, that's called samsara. So this, if we understand the religion. The permanent and temporary. Sat and asat. Tamas and jyoti. What is jyoti? This knowledge. That's why the God is always effulgent. In any place, if you see who are the gods, you will find from their bodies light is emanating. They will be drawing like that. As if the light is coming out of that body. Why? Because the knowledge. If you go to any religious the program, you will find they are lighting a lamp. Why? The same symbol. That so much of light is there, what is the necessary? Christians, they will burn the candles. Hindus, they will light the lamps. And almost everywhere, this process is there. They don't know. Just because somebody said and they are going on practicing, this is our practice, we should do it. But the thing is, why we do it? If we understand that, we understand religion. And sometimes some devotees will come and say, Swamiji, lamp should constantly burn over here. I don't know, don't do that. Because again the shoots all over, and then again we have to paint it and very costly. So it is not necessary. It is not necessary if we understand why we burn the lamp. We will burn the lamp as a symbol. What is the symbol? Knowledge. What is that knowledge? This world is temporary, and there is something which is permanent, whom we call as Jehovah, or Buddha, or Christ, or Allah, or God, Ishvara. That is permanent. So permanence and temporary, these are the two things. This world, temporary. God, permanent. How will you know that? Mritturma amritam gamaya. That is the eternal prayer. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to survive. Go to the hospital, hospices, you'll find the people, they like to survive. Each and every one over there. But in America and the modern countries, the hospices are there, the people, those who go over there, they know they cannot survive. Still, I saw in one of the places I was visiting, they're enjoying the TV. Constantly sitting before the TV and enjoying the games and the movies. They know after a few days they are going to die. Doctors have told maybe 1 or 2 months. Enjoying the TV. Still. And that is why today morning we were chanting, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. Shankaracharya says, Bhajagovindam Mudhamate. Who is the Mudha? The deluded one. You are going to die, even then you are thinking that you will get joy from this world. That is called Mudhamate, deluded person, deluded people. Even then they cannot realize it. Why? Because that is called Mrittu. Mrittu means the stop, the finite. And that is Mrittu, and death is that. So ignore asat to sat. From darkness, tamas, to jyoti, light. To mrittu, amrit. What is amrit? This knowledge only. That much, nothing else. I am not bound because I am the consciousness. Now, how I am the consciousness? This here, the whole Upanishad is a maximum period they are going on describing again and again creation. Wherever you go, you will find the creation. And the Christianity, the Islam, in any, it is a creation. What is this creation? Well, who created it? How we created? What is the material? That is the thing if we understand. And here is this creation. And The Upanishad here, the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, it says in the first book, 4th chapter and first mantra. You know the chapter in Upanishad, it says Brahmana. They say Brahmana. Atmaiva idam agra asit purusha vidaha. It says there was in the beginning, before the creation, what was there? Atma. What is Atma? Consciousness. So, if we have to understand Hinduism particularly, you have to understand Upanishad. Without Upanishad, you cannot understand Hinduism. Why? Because Upanishad is the Veda, and the basis of Hinduism is Veda. And what is that Veda? Knowledge. And what is that knowledge? Atma eva agra idam asit. Many people, they purchase these Upanishad books. Then afterwards, either they will send it back, Swamiji, I purchased, but now I cannot understand. I like to give it back to you. Upanishad, to understand Upanishad, you have to have the basis. The first is terminologies. Again and again, different way. And this is a very ancient Upanishad. So obviously, as a father or the mother, they go on repeating, you should read, you should read, you should read. I don't know in America whether the mothers are saying like that or not. But in our childhood days, oh my God, constantly, not only mother, the auntie and even the neighbors also. Right? You're playing over here, there is exam, go and sit and read. Constantly they will go and telling the same thing. Upanishad also, just like the mother, goes on repeating the same thing. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say the same thing, and Hridaya Ram used to move along the Thakur, Sri Ramakrishna. See, heard all that. Then once he was telling, why do you say same thing to every day? The Thakur said, that I will do. If you don't like, don't come along with me. Why do they repeat? Because through that, it goes on imprinted into the minds of the people. Again and again and again, when we are hearing, learning, by that way we learn. Here also, I am not going to read all the verses of the Upanishad, but because that will be difficult. So that is the reason I will be giving you the gist of this. Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, it says in the first mantra, it says, Atmaiva idam agra asit purusha vidaha. Prior to manifestation, this universe of varieties was like a person as a cell. Before this creation of this universe, there was the one, that is consciousness, but like a Purusha. Purusha means like a person. Now from here, if you have to create something, you need an agency, otherwise how you will create? Now friends, I will request you, as because you are attending the Vedanta talks and you know, all of you are aware about the Vedanta, the first is the consciousness. It is present everywhere. But that consciousness cannot create. The moment you are going to create, you have to have three qualities: sattva, raja and tama. These three Sanskrit words you must remember. Sattva, all good. Raja, mixture of good and bad. And tama, all bad. Now, this is wonderfully the Hinduism presenting where from the bad came from the God, from the Creator. Where from the good came from the God. So, mixture of good and bad human being. Sometimes the person is so good and sometimes that same person is so bad. It's very peculiar. So, you cannot judge a person. Sometimes before marriage, they will bring the picture of either the girl or the boy. So, Swamiji, can you see the picture and say whether you will be good or not? So difficult. Had I that yogic power, I could have said, but no, I am sorry, I am not having that. You have to inquire from the friends and relatives how he behaves. when he is constantly the same, that means it's okay. And you cannot expect 100% good in one person, then it will be God. 100% it is impossible. And if you find 75% good and 25%, Mahapurush is a great personality, is a very good person. So that is the way it goes. We have to go on increasing sattva guna, good qualities. That is the way we reach. We will come to that. The Rishi is asking us to practice so that we can slowly imbibe the good qualities. The good qualities comes from the God, bad qualities from the God. And in between, God comes and says, don't take the bad qualities, take the good one. And if you take the bad qualities, you are going to suffer. And if you take the good qualities, you are going to enjoy. A choice is yours. And that is the problem. Why he had to create, why he had to give good and bad, nobody knows. And then he says, it is my joy, it is my play. So that is the reason we have to understand who is a human being, one whose understanding is very clear. So they call it Dhi Shakti, the intellect, they call Buddhi. The Buddhi, he is very good in mathematics. He knows how to utilize the property, he knows, that is Buddhi. But Dhi, he knows how to go beyond the bondage of birth and death. So that is Dhi Shakti. That is also intellect. That is also intelligence. That is also understanding. But that understanding gives a very clear idea, oh, this is the problem. I like to go out of it. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he wanted to know how this high tide and the low tide comes. So the Master Mahashaya, he was a MA in those days, the master degree holder. So he sat down over there itself and started drawing a map. So this is the moon, this is the earth. When the moon is coming slowly towards earth, and Sri Ramakrishna got up and said, it's too complicated. I don't like to listen to this. It is so complicated for him. But that man showed how to go beyond the bondage. So that is why those who have the Dhi Shakti doesn't need the certificate from the university. The Buddhi and Dhi Shakti, the two words they have used. The Buddhi Shakti, Shakti means power, Buddhi means intellect, power of intellect. Some people are so intelligent, but worldly intelligent. That intelligence goes away. After some time, after 80, 90, they cannot remember anything. But the Dhi Shakti, it goes on increasing. The more they are matured, the more it goes on increasing. They understand everything. So these two we have to understand it. In the beginning, it was only the consciousness and nothing else. That consciousness became like a person, Purusha, and that is Atma. Sa Anubiksha, a very simple Sanskrit. Sa, that the consciousness who has taken a form of a human being or a being, and now is looking around. Oh, and he said, Na anyat atmana apashyat, na anyat atmana apashyat, but finding no one around him, he said he couldn't find anything except himself. So ahamashmi iti agre vyaharat tatu aham nama avarbet. When he couldn't find anyone around, that person said, I. And that is why till today everyone says I. Where from the I came, it is from there. The consciousness which was all pervading, this slowly, maybe for some reason, became like a person, and started thinking. Person means thinking. What he thought? let me see who is around me. And when he looked around, he didn't find anyone. Then he said, Aham Ashmi. I, Ashmi, I am only. And no one around. This I, so Vyaharat, it became, he said Vyaharat, that I am only. Because he said I, Aham, Nama, became associated with every one of us. I separating us from the original. Now, from here, the difficulty begins. That consciousness took a human form. He wanted to see who is around, not finding anyone. He said, Aham Ashmi, I am alone residing over here. And it became Aham. And that is the cause of separation. The Upanishad, it always gives in a very beautiful way, and you have to understand the meaning, as they call it, in between the lines. So why we are separated from God? We say, the Hindus say, God has created this universe. And then his best creation is human being. Why best creation? Because he gave the human being a head to think, to ponder, to understand, to analyze, to judge. So that is the unique gift of the God. He gave the strong body to rhino, to the elephant. And human being is no compared with the physical strength. But human being having a head which is unique. And if you utilize that head, that thought, you can conquer anything. All power will be under your feet. So that is called the God created human being out of his own image. This is first. And then if that God is creating us, why we became separated from God? Yeah. He said, Aham Ashmi. The moment he said I, that ego associated with that body separated from the consciousness. This is the Hindus, they say. Why the human being got separated from the God, the creator? Because of the ego. The Christian mythology will say, another being came and he is a devil and he offered some fruits to the first created man and the woman, and Eve, Adam and the Eve, they ate that and they got that bad thing, so they were separated from God. What is the bad thing? They were covering their body. Previously, they were free. They were mixing with God. They were not having any association with the body like the small children they don't have. And the moment they grew up, I came and they became ashamed to go in that condition without clothing before the God. They separated them with the fig leaves. They were covering their body, and the God understood they have got separation. Why? Till now it was with me, and now it is separated. And that is the reason they separate. This is a Christian way of analyzing. Hindus, they say, Aham, it is not any devil. Where from the devil came then? Another question, where from the devil came? Who gave the devil all those ideas? So that is why the Hindus, they say, no. It is all from the God, and the Aham, the I, separated us. Now, from the consciousness, that person, the consciousness became like a person, is known as Prajapati. Prajapati, that is the name was given. Praja is the created being. Pati, the ruler or creator, Prajapati. But that Prajapati only thought, who again another person is doing. Now, sometimes you will find the scientists, they are going on researching and coming out with some idea. Then they gave it to the labs. The laboratory people, then knowing all those, they will develop the medicine. They will produce the medicine. The scientist is not producing the medicine. He is only, oh, this is the problem, this is the solution, this way we can mix it. Only on theory he will give. The theory who is giving is the Prajapati. Now, with that theory, the one who is acting, producing, his name is Hiranyagarbha. And Garbha means the womb. Hiranya, the golden womb. Hiranya means gold, the golden womb. So, it is Vedantic way of expression. How the creation came? Vedanta will say, first is the Prajapati, then the second person who is creating it is the Hiranyagarbha, and what he produced is called Virat. This whole world that we see is called Virat. The three stages. First is nothing but consciousness. Forget about that. Creation. And that consciousness suddenly became a form which can think, and that is Prajapati. From Prajapati, one who is actively doing is called Hiranyagarbha, and from Hiranyagarbha, the production, creation is known as Virat. This is from the Vedanta. Hindus, they are having three different ways to explain. Another is the Bhakti, the Vishnu. So, the Vishnu, he is all pervasive consciousness. Vistara eti Vishnuhu. Vistara eshi. Vistara means is all the everywhere. Vistara. The Vistara, that Vishnu, that consciousness, he wanted to create. Whom he created? A second person is necessary to create Brahma. And the Brahma again created some of the best personalities, that's called rishis, Ashtabhoshus, and all the seven rishis. And those rishis again created this world. This is from the point of view of duality. And Tantra will say, the same Hindu, again they will analyze the creation, the Tantra, Paramashiva, this is the absolute consciousness. Sadashiva, the Shiva, that absolute, opened the eyes to create. That is called Sadashiva. The Shiva, the body is white. Why? Because the Sattaguna, the intelligence. But no red, no black, it is not working, only white. And on that, Kali. Kali is a mixture of red and black. There is a Rajaguna and Tamaguna, of course Sattaguna. So these three mixture creating. The first is Paramashiva. We don't see the picture or the images of Paramashiva. But in the Tantra, Paramashiva is the supreme consciousness. It is completely dead. And his body is pale. He is lying on its back. On its chest lying another Shiva with the white body is called Sadashiva. And from the Sadashiva, the creation is goddess Kali. So the three different points the Hindus are explaining the creation. We are following the Vedanta. In Vedanta, first is Prajapati, then Hiranyagarbha, then Virata. That Supreme One divided himself into two parts. Half part male, and it got the name Manu. And the another half part became female, and that name became Satarupa. Shata means many, 100. Shatarupa. Manu and Shatarupa. And this Manu and Shatarupa, they were created by the God, the consciousness. Half of it is the male, another half is the female. Much afterwards, the Brahmana cult came. That is almost in the Gupta Yugas. I am talking about the Indian perspective. In the Gupta Yugas, this Brahmins became very supreme. Brahmin means the priest. And to control the society, always there is a opportunity. The moment they get the opportunity to rule on others, they'll be so happy. So immediately the Brahmins started planning. We have to save our family. So how? Then they understood 50% female, the girls, and 50% male. So they said girls should not study. No Veda for the girls. It is not in the original. Because God created man and woman out of himself, half. No partiality. And in the beginning, both were studying, both were becoming, in the society, they were accepting. Much afterwards, in the Gupta Yuga particularly, they separated. And they started telling that girls should not study. Then what happened? The boys, 50% are completely out of the ground, so 50% only boys. Out of those boys, they said, only Brahmana should study, not the Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So only their children. Then the Kshatriyas take out the sword because they are Kshatriyas, they are powerful. Then the Brahmana said, okay, let us have some. Okay, your children also can come and study, but our children will study. After the study, your children will become the ruler, our children will become the gurus, the advisors. So the Kshatriya and Brahmana, they were allowed to study. Vaishyas and Shudras, no. Why? Because now they are getting out of 100, 50% off. Then again, out of 50, 25 off. Only 25%. Look at it. But this should not be blamed on the religion. It is nothing to do with the religion. It is only the society. And society changes. Different time, different rules come. It is not Hinduism. The people, they blame Hinduism that they are not giving education to the women. And they blame Manu. Manu has nothing to do with it. Unnecessarily they will blame Manu. Manu is not the original Manu, the creator, but the Manu who created the law for the Hindus. No, he never said that. Manu rather said, if you have a girl and a son, a daughter and a son, you should give education to the daughter first. Then afterwards, if you have the resources, give it to the son. Because son can somehow maintain himself, but not the daughter. Education is the more power. And we blame Manu. Wrong. Manu said, if anyone in the family torturing the women, or a society torturing the women, they will never get the blessings of God. And that Manu, how can say that you should not give education to the women? And they did it. Then afterwards came the invasion from the Middle East. And they were completely different type. Obviously, women were pushed back. The Hindu women were also behind the curtains for a long period of time. Ma Sharadamani Devi, she couldn't go to school. Forget about school. She wanted to read one or two books or a basic thing. That also was not allowed. But this Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and his disciple Swami Vivekananda, they brought the education for the women afterwards. So slowly everything changed. So knowledge is power. And this knowledge is equal for both male and female. According to our scripture, whoever says whatever, according to the Upanishad, and that to Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, it is the God who divided himself into two halves, one male, another female, and male became Manu, female became Satarupa, Tato Manushya Ajayata. And from these, Manu and Satarupa, this human being came. It is the first book, 4th chapter, 3rd mantra of the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad. Tato Manushya Ajayanta. From that union of Manu and Shatarupa, human beings were born. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, we are all gods, the descendant of the rishis. How you are thinking so low? You should not. That is the self-confidence. I should not think in that way because I belong to the family of gods. After this we find the Upanishad narrates the whole creation. I am not going to read pages after pages. They will be giving different classes of people like the Brahmana, the thinkers, Kshatriyas, the protectors, Vaishyas, the maintainers, and the Shudras, the workers. It created trees, birds, animals, everything of this earth, the sky, the water, the fire, the air, everything that has a name and a form. It was created. If you go to the Bhagavad, same way, the Brahma is creating. We are going through Vedanta. I am reminding you again and again because we mix up. There are 3 approaches. And in the 3 approaches, the Vedanta we are studying, and through the Vedanta, creation. And in the Bhagavata, same thing in a different way, and there it is not Hiranyagarbha or the creating. There it is Brahma. The Brahma is the creator. But Vedantin will say, no, Hiranyagarbha is the creator. That is a name only. Terminology changed it. Then the Upanishad teaches us to meditate only on the Supreme Self. After all this creation, so many things they created, in so many different ways they created. Then it takes us once again, as in the music, they will be playing the 7 varieties, but then ultimately they will take us to the basic, that is called Soma. You will find that in Indian music, classical music, they will take the hand and they will put on their the thigh. This is called Soma. That's the basic. Again they will play. So after the creation, the Upanishad takes us to the root. What? Oh, don't think about the varieties. Think about the one. And asya sarvasya tad etad yat ayam atma padaniyam. This ayam atma padaniyam. This atma, the consciousness, out of which everything has come, that you should meditate, not all these varieties. Now, if we go on meditating on varieties of things, it will be very difficult. We cannot reach anywhere. Sometimes some people say, do we have to take initiation? Because the initiation, the Guru will give you a mantra and a God, and you have to stick to that. But before meditation, before that initiation, I used to think about Kali, I used to think about Durga, I used to think about Ganesha, in different seasons, different gods and goddesses. You can, but your energy is flittering. Any god, any goddess you can choose. That freedom is there in Hinduism. But at the same time, they will say, focus on one so that you can concentrate. Anything, just focus on that. And then it will reveal. And on what you are focusing, that is not important. Because your mind, when it is concentrated on any object, you are going to get qualities of that object. If you are focusing your mind, concentrating your mind on a politician, very impressive politician, you will get all those qualities of this politician. Slowly, without your knowledge, within you, it will come. If you are concentrating young people, they always like they are heroes, this movie artist. And they will become like that. Their hairstyle will be like that, their walking style will be like that. So they go. And if you concentrating on the God, you will become God. So that is, they say, you must be careful. And it says, Sa Esha, that Atman, that consciousness iha, in it. From Hiranyagarbha up to the earth, in everything, nikhila dehe, in all being. Then he mentioned the anakhagirebhya prabishtaha. Nakha means the nail. Anakha, the tip of the nail. Why is giving this type of words? To impress us, to make us understand clearly, even the nail of my toe, there also that consciousness is there. It penetrated into that way. Anakhabhya prabishtaha, up to the nail ends penetrated. The task is to find out this one from the many. Now God has given so many things. Now again the call is to go back to the source. And what is that source, that one? What is that one? Consciousness. So when we see so many, who are these? That consciousness. And it is penetrating up to the tip of the nail also. Everywhere it is there. But shall we go to find out everywhere? No. So you have to find out that consciousness in one. So when we can find that, that is the final destination. How one can do that? Giving an example, how we can do that? He is giving the example. What is that example? Very wonderfully he is mentioning, if you have noticed the farmers, when they lose a cattle, they will go on searching the footprints of the cattle and they will find out. The cattle was grazing over here, now it turned into over here, then it entered into the forest, then we can see the footmarks and they will go and find that cattle. Similarly, you have to get the footmarks of that consciousness. Look at it. And the very basic way they are giving the teaching. We understand in the villages, when a cattle is lost, and the people will go finding out the cattle, how? By seeing the marks. And then finally, we are also going over there. Habai padena anubindet evam. Padena means the mark. Now, what is the marking of the consciousness? How we can go back to that? That which was not existing, how it came into being. That is the first doubt. Rishi in reply says, when you sleep, there's giving the example again, that which is not existing, which was not existing, it came into being. How it is possible? Then it says, very simple. It says, when you were sleeping, world was not there. And when you got up, once again the world is before you. The same way, when it was not there, the moment you were aware about the world is there. The creation and sustenance and the dissolution, it depends on me. I am sleeping, the world is also lost for me. At least for me, for individual. When I am sleeping, the world is present in me. I cannot sleep. If I am going on thinking about this thing and that thing, what is going to happen tomorrow like this, I cannot sleep. If you are sleeping means you have forgotten the world. That means when you get up, again, oh, this is the watch, oh, I am late and this, that, again, all thing comes. That means you are creating, you are sustaining, and you are dissolving. You is the creator of this universe. So that is the way, if we understand, when the God is creating, He is just thinking that universe. And then afterwards, it is sustaining because He wants to see this. Then He is going to bed and sleeping. And that is called pralaya. Pralaya means is the far end of it. Even in the Christian that they will say, the last day. The last day has come. Sometimes in the medieval age, sometimes they used to give the call. The last day has come and the churches will go on ringing the bell. What happened? The last day has come. Like that it went on, and afterwards nothing happened. Previously, when we were very young, suddenly we came to know the huge, what's called, something is coming from the above, and it will be heating the earth and breaking the whole earth. So Hindus immediately everywhere, on the streets, on the gardens, everywhere, they started Homa, and a lot of ghee was burned. A lot of the things were burned. Why? Because that is coming and hitting the earth and no one will survive. So let us remember God. So hundreds of people will be all around and they are pouring the ghee, and nothing came, and whatever came, we don't know. But a lot of ghee was sold by that time. Well, that was there. This is the way constantly they go on thinking, and we are thinking that the world is going to be dissolved, destroyed. We are destroying the world every day. Every day we are destroying the world. How? We go to sleep, and that is called pralaya. Pralaya for individual one. When all people are like that, there is nothing. So this wonderful way, it says, again the question, this world with its various objects, so attractive and pleasant, why then we leave it and go for the Atman? So we are enjoying this world. So why should you go to the Atman? We don't know what we are going to get over there. Then it says, Tat etat priya putrat. When the family, husband, wife, having their son, their children, they are so happy. We say it is much, much, much higher joy than having a child. Priyo bitrat. Bitta means the wealth. If you become suddenly the lottery, you just get the first prize and you become a millionaire and you are so happy, it is much, much, much higher than that. Priyo anyat asmat sarvasmat antarataram yat ayam atma. This Atma, if you realize that, it is much, much higher of the joy that you find over here. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, once you enjoy that, even for a glimpse of it, fraction of it, that joy, you will forget all other joys. You will forget that is the attraction. This self is the dearer than a son, dearer than wealth, dearer than all other objects. So, but we have to understand that, otherwise not. We will conclude when the rishis of the Brhadaranyaka, when he mentioned now the fivefold duties of the householders. What are the fivefold duties of the householders? Because you have to prepare yourself. Why for the householders? Because they are engaged in everything. And most important, the group is householders. According to the Hindu, the social system, first is the brahmacharis, that is students. Second, householders. Third, retired people. Fourth, sannyasins. And naturally, when these three, the student, retired person, and a recluse, all depending on these householders. They are the best, they are the main pillar of the society. So what they should do? First, they should worship God. And the first thing is worshipping God. Second, pleasing the sages. The sages or the holy people, you should please them. Third, remembering your ancestors. Fourth, helping the human being. And fifth, feeding the animals. And this is called Pancha Maha Yajna. It's so easy, these 5 yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. And what you are sacrificing? your ego. And then slowly you are purifying. How? First you are remembering God. Most of the people I have seen, they will get up, first they will get up very late, almost in the noon time, and then immediately they will get up, they need a newspaper to read with a cup of tea or coffee. That's the first thing they started. That means they went to bed with the world and started their life again with the world. So they are constantly living on that. So that is a different type of, but one who has understood the temporariness of this world. Oh, my grandfather, his picture is hanging. Now, his father, their picture is also there. Now, my father, now recently passed away, he is also hanging. And another place is there, left over there, is for me. You will see below all the in charges of this ashrama, the first who started, the second, then third, the fourth, I am the fifth one. The space is open. So I will be hanging someday over there. So naturally, this is the life, the temporariness, the why to think, oh, I am going to die. Whether you cry or not, you are going to die. The end is obvious. So how we should go back to the source? Because we came from God which is eternal. I am just repeating. We came from that, I am not using the word God, I am using that which is consciousness, which is eternal. And then we have to go back to that eternity. How? By understanding that I, that aham, is a wrong conception. That first he said, oh, I am alone, so I. That's a wrong conception. It is all that is I. So that is why first worshipping gods. Why? Because by worshipping God, we get or imbibe good qualities of the gods. Who are gods? Good people. Those who have done good activities, they are gods. So that is, we are worshipping those. Secondly, sages. Who are the sages? They, after realizing this truth, they not only realized themselves, they immediately noted it down for us, for the posterity, for next generation. They noted it down and then gave it to us. That is also great service they have given to us. So that is called the sages. How we will serve the sages, worship the sages? Just by reading some holy books. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, hang the picture of gods and goddesses everywhere in your house, so that the moment you are moving this room to that room, you can see one or other god. And you remember, oh, the goddess Durga, goddess Kali here and there. Like that everywhere. And then by that morning you get up, first thing you should do, you should keep your God, your favorite God, picture, and just go and bow down. That's all, nothing else. Then afterwards, if possible, and lighten incense sticks and show it and say, pray to God, my day is beginning, please be with me. God's over. First, yoga. Second, yajna. Read a holy book. If you don't have the time, play something, and it will be some Swami, some teacher is going on, you are working and getting ready for the office and listening. That will also do. But better if you yourself directly read. Remembering the ancestors, at least at the time of bathing, before pouring the water on your head, pour some water and say, I am remembering you, oh grandfather, grandmother, and all those have passed away. And I can remember that you love me, you are protecting me from somewhere. So I remember you, I have not forgotten you. And that is the gratefulness. If a person not becoming grateful, he is not a human being. And third, helping the human being. Yesterday I met a young girl. She has got the job, not much of a salary, but she is very excited. I am going to join the job maybe from the next month, 1st June. Then I told, every day you should take out $1 and keep it separate. Immediately she was counting. $1 per day means $30. And $30 you have to keep separately. And that $30, give it to the holy people or some organization for helping the people, poor people. Why? Because of them you are. And finally, give some food to the animals and birds. Nothing. Just offer some food to the animals. Keep it outside. They will eat it. Keep little water outside. They will drink it. And they will be so happy. And their happiness comes as a blessings to you. Being a householder, these 5 things if you do, your body and mind is becoming purified. And the moment you are becoming purer and purer, you will understand the subtle, the consciousness that is within you. The D Shakti, as I was mentioning, that D Shakti will rise within you. Thank you, friends. We will stop over here. And is there any question?
Srinivas has a 2-part question. What is the main difference between meditation and prayer? This is part 1. Second question is, complete surrender to God means we have to leave God everything, or can we act according to our will and leave results to God?
Now, the first question, what is prayer and what is meditation? There was someone told, I have forgotten who, I heard it, but very nicely he placed it. When I am talking with God, that is prayer. When God is talking with me, that is meditation. So, that means you are completely merged in God, so that is meditation. And about the karma, any way I am doing the karma and then leaving it to God, no. You have to perform it as best as possible. And you have to utilize not only your mental but physical power also to make it perfect. And after doing that, finishing that, when you offer it to God, then it is okay. That you can do. Because whatever you offer to God, 10 times it comes back. If you give bad things to God, it will be 10 times again. I am not just joking. Swami Vivekananda said that. If you are doing something wrong outside a holy place, whatever the sin that you are incurring, the same mistake if you make inside a holy place, it will be 10 times more punishable. So be careful. So when you are offering to God something, you must offer the best thing to God. Thank you.
Devashish is asking how to adjust oneself when we are facing people with different mindset and their mindset is very narrow.
See, this is the practical problem. You are meeting some people whose mindsets are narrow, they are thinking in a different way. But all are correct in their own standard. So they are thinking, when you are thinking their mindsets are narrow, they are thinking he is correct. So try to understand this. So we have started a program from last year, 22 May, in our Home of Harmony, Know and Love. That is the series. Know and love. Without knowing, you won't be able to love. Different religious leaders are coming and they are giving their ideas, and we are understanding, it is good. Someone came and spoke about their religion, then we appreciated that. One lady came and talked about the Easter. It is so good. A first part of her lecture we have published in our magazine, the Chicago Calling, this present magazine. You can pick up that $3 and you can go through that. So wonderfully she has explained. And that the moment we came to know about that, oh, this is Easter, so wonderful. Similarly, those who were listening the talk of the Hinduism, Achha, this is Hinduism. Now we understand. Hinduism is a little difficult to understand because different approaches, different views, different terminologies, and different way of expression, different gods and goddesses. That is the reason the Hindus are also a little confused. So, once you understand the Hinduism, it actually, through so many, they will take you to one. All the time they will take you to one. So, know and love. When you are thinking their mindset is narrow, try to understand them. Those who are having inferiority complex, they always try to show aggressiveness. The moment they are aggressive, know it for certain, something is wrong in his behavior, inferiority complex. And those who are having full confidence, they won't show it. The king will never say that I am rich. The king knows that he is rich. But those who are working under the king, they will be putting on different jewelries and to show that we are working with the king and we are also rich. This is all inferiority complex goes in that way. So be careful when you are handling a person and handle in that way. Thank you.
Vijay has a two-part question. If Shiva and Shakti are one, then does it matter if we meditate on both of them? Part 2 is, can we say consciousness with upadhi led to creation? Can we say the upadhi is Maya/Shakti?
That's true. A good idea. Your idea is almost very clear about Vedanta. Upadhi, that is also another Sanskrit term, means the different type of qualities we superimpose on that. That he is grateful, he is merciful, he is all love, all these upadhis. But it is all beyond that. So that is all Maya. But to reach to the highest, we have to understand this also. We have to utilize those. And your idea is very clear. Thank you. Next, anything?
Shanti is asking, what guna gives Krishna the midnight blue color?
The what guna?
Gives Krishna the midnight blue color.
Midnight blue color. You know, Krishna, you will see the Kali, the Krishna, the Rama, they're all not white. Why, you know? Because this is another symbology that is, we cannot understand them. Unfathomable. He is the supreme God. And you cannot say, this is Krishna. Krishna with the flute, Krishna with the Sudarshan, Krishna in the war field, Krishna with others. You cannot say that this is Krishna. Krishna is all pervasive. Rama is all pervasive. Kali is all pervasive. And that is why they always depict them with little blackish color. And sometimes Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, very correctly, he said, when we look at the sky, we see a color, sky blue, we say. But does it really having a color? No. From distance, we see like that. And if you go nearer, there is no color at all. The same, the God is unfathomable. We do not know. So that color. Thank you. So let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Yeah.
I know that it's a question. The thing, Aham Brahmasmi, when you repeat that, Aham Brahma is different, Aham Brahmasmi, what is?
Now, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham, I, Brahma, all-pervasive consciousness, Ashmi, is, or am. I am all-pervasive consciousness. Those who are following the path of knowledge, they practice that. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Those who are following the path of duality, they will take the mantra diksha and they will go on repeating the mantra the Guru has given. And that way they will follow. But the path of knowledge, they say Aham Brahmasmi.
So when you said God, that Aham is ego, right?
Aham.
So without, what is that aham? That is the ego.
Ego. This aham, now when you are practicing the jnana yoga, this aham associated with the body and mind, present body and mind. But you are constantly reminding yourself that I am the Brahman, and that is all pervasive consciousness. I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am all pervasive consciousness. Shankaracharya, when he is mentioning that, Mano buddhi ahamkara chittani naham. The mana, buddhi, ahamkara, chitta. Then he goes on giving the list. I am not this, I am not this. Then the last, so that is I think sixth one, fifth or sixth last verse, aham nirvikalpa. They are the positive. No, 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 negative, negative, negative. Positive, aham nirvikalpa, nirakara rupa. Nirakara rupa. What is my form? Nira. And then there is no akara, there is no form. See, the Hindus, when they worship, they put the water jar. And water jar. The water is the symbol of nirakara, without form. They worship that water, not the image, but keep the image in front. In South India, if you go, they will be breaking the coconut. If you don't break the coconut, your puja is not complete. You have to break the coconut. But they don't know why they are breaking the coconut, the water. I asked him, why you are breaking the coconut? Because after breaking, you get small, small pieces and you can distribute as prasad. I told, why not jackfruit? So many. The jackfruit is containing so many, so you can distribute more. Why not jackfruit? It is water. It is not the coconut. It is the water. That shows we are not actually worshipping an image. We are worshipping through that image, that, as Swami Vivekananda said, the consciousness. That is the Hinduism. That way, always you have to understand, it takes us to all pervasive consciousness through different images, name and form, like that. Okay? Thank you then. Did you say Shanti? Let us say Shanti. Om Shanti. 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 Harihi Om.